Okay, it is right around 2 p.m., actually about 1:45 in the afternoon here on Wednesday. And yeah, we're talking about the winter storm. It's unfolding beautifully. So we'll try to get through this as quick as possible for you so that you can get out there. I know everybody's busy. But yeah, let's get into this right now. This is the infrared satellite loop, and what you want to focus on right off the bat is look at these cloud tops now over southwestern Minnesota, southeastern South Dakota, and now stretching northeast into central Minnesota. These cloud tops are cooling, which means that this storm system is intensifying, and it's going to be the case here over the next 12 hours, which means heavy snow is pretty much a lock now from Mankato northeast through the Twin Cities into northwestern Wisconsin. We'll show you that here in just a little bit on how that is going to evolve. Look at the visible satellite loop. Just a brilliant looking visible satellite loop right now. You're seeing a dry surge of air with even some sunshine extending northeast now into eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are unusually warm down there. Temperatures are even near 50 degrees in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So that just tells you the air mass that is just southeast now of the Twin Cities metro. And of course, on the other side of that front, that Arctic front, which is located right here, it's also where the rain-snow line is located. On the other side of that Arctic front, you're seeing these clouds pile up and they're getting bumpy. These are stratocumulus clouds that are indicative of rain, snow, heavy snow, and then also, of course, strong winds now that are coming down on the back side of the system. But just a beautiful looking visible satellite loop, and then even the water vapor loop showing that impressive dry slot. This dry slot is key because if this dry slot would have moved any further west into southern Minnesota, we would have had a bust here in the snow department. But the dry slot now has traveled over extreme southeastern Minnesota, and right on the edge or nose of this dry slot is where heavy snow likes to develop. So you draw a line from about Rochester to Eau Claire. Anything along and south of that line, snow totals are going to be much lower than northwest of that line, and it all has to do with that dry punch or dry slot that is moving northeast in this with this impressive winter storm. Twin Cities radar clearly shows the rain right now over the eastern Twin Cities metro and western Wisconsin. Some of this is heavy rain and even some sleet now. And then this is all snow back here. I just took a look at some of the traffic cameras and, of course, some of the current conditions around Minnesota. And the rain-snow line has now basically moved through the Twin Cities metro, steadily moving east. So western Wisconsin, Hudson, Baldwin, River Falls, you guys will be changing over to snow here shortly. The areas that are going to have a tough time changing over, and it's still going to take several more hours, are Rochester and the Eau Claire area. So that's why snow totals are certainly going to be held down in those areas. This is Twin Cities radar, by the way, from the National Weather Service. And this is the new radar. I know a lot of you look at this and loved the old Twin Cities radar, and so did I. But hopefully they improve this radar in this summary and how quickly it loads over time, because the National Weather Service's radar is critical, not only for me, but I'm sure for everybody, for the general public, and for you guys in the industry. But anyway, look at all the snow now here. Lots of snow to go here across our region. It's snowing heavily from the Twin Cities now on west and southwest. All right, here's radar. This is the way it's setting up right now. This is future radar. This is the rapid refresh, the HRRR computer model guidance. You can see what it had for the rain snow line here at right about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Basically right along the Mississippi River, Stillwater and Hudson, the rain should be changing over to snow shortly. Of course, here's the Eau Claire area, Mankato, Twin Cities. For the most part, Mankato, Twin Cities, all snow now, and watch what happens as we put the future radar into motion. Storm system tracks almost right over Eau Claire. From about Rochester to Eau Claire is the surface low track, and on the back side of that storm, as it moves away, rain's going to change to snow in those areas. And of course, look at the Twin Cities metro. We are basically on the axis of heaviest snow from Mankato to the Twin Cities on northeast towards Ashland, Wisconsin. Just the snow totals that are being cranked out by the model guidance are simply amazing. And I had mentioned about that dry slot. Just wanted to give you guys some weather 101 here. Here's the 500 millibar jet max, what we call a jet streak, coming up into Iowa this morning. This is the river of air at about 20 to 25,000 feet. This is how we often can determine if a dry slot's going to develop. And look at how these winds increase within intensity this afternoon as this dry slot and strong winds at 20,000 feet surge northeast into eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. And as I had mentioned, on the nose or on the western edge of that dry slot is where heavy, heavy snow develops in the winter. And that really is going to be the case here from Mankato to the Twin Cities on northeast to Ashland, Wisconsin. And as you get closer to that dry punch towards those strong winds at 20 to 25,000 feet, that's where you get the sharp snow gradient. So expect a real razor sharp snow gradient to extend from about Rochester to Eau Claire as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. They'll still get snow over there, but just not as much as in the Twin Cities and Mankato. And how much snow? Well, here I'm going to give you a couple of guidances. Now, this is the European guidance. This one's hot off the press. This is from this morning. Now, the Euro's been probably the most consistent out of all the guidances in the last several runs on how much snow is going to be falling. And it's still predicting over a foot of snow over much of the Twin Cities metro. I think that might be a little optimistic, but I'm not certainly going to discount it. I'm still thinking somewhere in that 6 to 10 inch range in general for the Twin Cities and for Mankato on northeast to Ashland, Wisconsin. I do think some heavier totals will be in extreme northwestern Wisconsin, and I do think that there will be some locales in the Twin Cities metro that measure a foot of snow, especially some people that have measuring sticks that just get a little excited. You guys know how that goes. It's to each their own when you're measuring snow, right? But anyway, we'll see what the Twin Cities International comes up with for snow. I won't be surprised if MSP International gets somewhere in that 8 to 10 inch range of snow, maybe even a little bit more, because the axis of heavy snow is basically going right through MSP International on northeast to Cumberland and Spooner, Wisconsin, and then of course back southwest into the Mankato area. Looking at the rapid refresh guidance, this is scary because we've got a consensus here with a lot of the guidances. Rapid refresh is showing over a foot of snow over a good chunk of the Twin Cities metro. So yes, this storm system could easily get out of hand here between now and about 9 p.m. It is a mess out there. I don't have to tell you guys that, but we need to keep in mind that a flash freeze is occurring as we speak. And there is ice now underneath this snow that's accumulating, as you know. And traffic has come to a halt in many areas over southern and eastern Minnesota, and that's just going to continue to expand eastward into western Wisconsin this afternoon. Here was your timing graph that I sent out to you earlier this morning, but I'm thinking the height of the storm is going to be between about 3 p.m. and 7 or 8 p.m. where snow is going to be falling at about 1 to 2 inches per hour. Just amazing amounts of snow for this time of the year. And of course, you guys know my predictions. I'm thinking a solid 6 to 10 inches of snow from Mankato northeast to Lake Superior. And within that area, 10, 12 inches of snow, not out of the question, especially from the Twin Cities metro on northeast to Ashland, Hayward, Cumberland, Wisconsin. Just a mess out there. All right, hey, we're going to send out another update for you guys, probably a text update late this afternoon, or maybe probably early this evening, trying to give you a better idea on exactly when the snow should end. I'm hoping by midnight, but I get worried about these storms because sometimes they linger for a few extra hours. But anyway, I'll try to update you guys on that as we go through time this evening. All right, good luck out there. Thanks for joining me. Take care.